Bhaktir Bhauti Naishtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 17, text number 16 and 17. Tau Adidaityo Sahasa. Tau Adidaityo Sahasa. Vyajamana Atma Paurusho. Vyajamana Atma Paurusho. Vavruddhate Asma Sarena. Vavruddhatme Asma Sarena. Kayena Adripati Iva. Kayena Adripati Iva. Tavadidautyo Sahasa. Vyajyamanatma Paurusho. Vavruddhate Asmasarena. Kayena Adripati Va. Tavadidaityo Sahasa. Vyajyamanatma Paurusho. Vavruddhate Asmasarena. Kayena Adripati Va. Tau, those two, Adidaityo, demons in the beginning of creation. Sahasa, quickly. Vyajamana, being manifest. Atma, own. Paurusho, prowess. Vavruddhate, grew. Asmasarena, steel like. Kayena, with bodily frames. Adripati, two great mountains. Iva, like. Translation and purport by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. These two demons who appeared in ancient time soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. They had steel-like frames which began to grow just like two great mountains. Please repeat the translation. These two demons who appeared in the ancient times soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. They had steel-like frames which began to grow just like two great mountains. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. There are two classes of men in the world. One is called the demons and the other is called the demigod. The demigods concern themselves with the spiritual upliftment of human society, whereas the demons are concerned with physical and material upliftment. The two demons born of Diti began to make their bodies as strong as iron frames, and they were so tall that they seemed to touch outer space. They were decorated with valuable ornaments and they thought this was success in life. Originally, it was planned that Jaya and Vijaya, the two doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, were to take birth in this material world, where, by the curse of the sages, they were to play the part of always being angry with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As demoniac persons, they became so angry that they were not concerned with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but simply with physical comforts and physical upliftment. Next verse, I'll recite myself. Divi sprusho hema kirita kotiviri niruddha kasto spurad angada bhujo gam kampyayanto charanai pade pade katya sukanchyarkam atityat tastutuhu. Their bodies became so tall that they seemed to kiss the sky with the crests of their gold crowns. They blocked the view of all directions and while walking shook the earth at every step. Their arms were adorned with brilliant bracelets, and they stood as if covering the sun with their waists, which were bound with excellent and beautiful girdles. Purport. In the demoniac way of civilization, people are interested in getting a body constructed in such a way that when they walk on the street, the earth will tremble, and when they stand, it will appear that they cover the sun and the vision of the four directions. If a race appears strong in body, their country is materially considered to be among the highly advanced nations of the world. Presents the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimira Andasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here when the two demons took birth, first thing itself is they created fear by evil omens. Now further how they acted, how they grew up is explained in these verses. Their bodily structure, their symptoms has been elaborated. Tau Adi Daityo Sahasa. That too, Adi Daityo, the original demons, Sahasa, immediately, as soon as they took birth, Vyajamana Atma Paurusho. They began to manifest by their own prowess, Atma Paurusho. Vavruddhate Asmasarena. Their Vavruddhate, they began to grow. Asmasarena, like it is a steel framed, iron framed. Kayena Adripati Iva. Their Sharira, Kayena, which became like steel. And the size was Adripati Iva, like two great mountains. They're like huge personalities. How huge was that personality? Next verse says. Divi Sprisho Hema Kirita Kotibihi. Divi Sprisho. They were touching the sky, Divi. With what? Hema Kirita Kotibihi. The tips of their crowns are touching the sky. Then Niruddha Kasto Spurad Angada Bhujo. Niruddha Kasto, they blocked all the directions. So huge personalities. So they blocked the directions everywhere, four directions. Spurad Angada Bhujo. And they had bracelets on their body, which were very glittering. Spurad, lightning. Then Gam Kampayanto Charanai Pade Pade. When they walk, at every step, Gam Kampayanto, the earth was shaking. It was like an elephant when it walks. This is rough estimation. Elephant is very small in compared to these personalities. So the entire building was shaking. Katya Sukancha Arkam Atitya Tastutuhu. So by their waist, Katya, Sukancha Arkam, by their waist with well decorated belts, the sun, Atitya Tastutau, they stood as if with their bodily waist they were blocking the sun rays itself. So such a huge personalities, and the Prabhupada in the purport also explains about these people. These two demons who appeared in the ancient times, Tam Adidhaityo, soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. Sahasa Vyajamana Atma Paurusho. These are not common in general public. These were uncommon, something extraordinary. They had steel-like frames, Asmasarena Kayena, and which began to grow like two great mountains, Vivruddhate Adripati Iva. Like mountains, they were huge personalities. So here there is a contrast explained in the purport by Prabhupada about two categories of living entities. One is the demons and the demigods. The demigods are interested in the spiritual upliftment of every living entity. But the demons are interested in material upliftment, increasing the bodily necessities of life. That is a big contrast in the understanding itself. The true demons, they began to make their bodies as strong as iron frames, and they were so tall that they seemed to touch outer space. And as demoniac persons, they become so angry that they were not concerned with the Supreme Lord, but simply with physical comforts and physical upliftment. This was their whole intention. Bodily concept of life, comforts, and upliftment of physical upliftment. So, I was just understanding this example, how to view the huge personalities and huge capacities. When I finished my 10th class, just then Jurassic Park movie was released, 1994. So first time when I went, after finishing my exams, my father took me. When you see that first time that dinosaurs, the people were so small, not even to the size of their ankle, that the dinosaurs were so big. Now to relate what we have understood, these personalities are so big. Now we are saying they are demoniac people, they are interested in bodily sense gratification. They are creating disturbance. What happens when you see such a huge structure? Do we feel happy? Do we feel afraid? Do we feel fear? What will be the first reaction when you see these huge personalities? Fear. They control people by fear. See, they wanted to create a disturbance. If they wanted to create a disturbance, one small chutuku is coming and trying to do something, you will not be bothered at all. But when huge personalities that demand our immediate attention and our immediate subservience. So somebody great, somebody extraordinary, we immediately become alert. Oh, somebody great personality. So by their bodily structure itself, they are demanding respect, commanding respect. But are they, now you say, are they well-wishers of living entities, or are they destroyers for living entities? Are they good or bad? Good or bad? No, they are good. Because of their fear, they are making us think of Krishna. Or else we will never think of Krishna. And because of their actions, they are bringing the Supreme Lord to this material world. So they are the best well-wishers for us. In a devotee perspective, for common man's perspective, they are a disturbance to this society. See, every situation depends upon how do you see. The same scenario, in the movies you take, one movie, one person will be villain, in the next movie he will be made a hero. I think one movie was there, King Kong. When you see that, so generally, what do you see? A gorilla, what size it is a gorilla? Some 8 feet, 9 feet gorilla when they stand up. When that King Kong movie was released, what is the size of that gorilla? It will capture a human being in the fist, it will be small size. That human being was like an ant if you catch in a hand. So for us, for reference, it is shown as a negative in the one movie. In the next franchise, it is shown as hero. It will save us from some other demon. See, this material world, this perception of good and bad is all illusion. Dvaite bhadra abhadra. Sakale maya. Because what is good you think is actually not good. What is bad may be good for us. Because under illusion we are thinking somebody is good and somebody is bad. Because this is will of the Lord, they are acting in that perspective. If you see, they are all, what is their intention? Who are they? Great devotees, Parshadav, the associates of the Lord, who never forget the Lord. So when you are in their association, what do they make? They will also make us to never forget the Lord. So that was their whole intention. So when you see these personalities, Prabhupada also writes, in a race it appears, if a race appears strong in body, their country is materially considered to be among the highly advanced nations of the world. So materially calculations are always, there will be, if you go to social media, there will be some reels. which shows which are the top countries with military power, which are the top countries with ammunition power. On what basis? So much strength of army, so much strength of ammunition. They give material counts as the basis. So sometimes a country may be huge and a fighting opponent will be very small. But this opponent is able to hold on to that big countries. If you see that war between America and Vietnam, what is the size of Vietnam? It's very small. What is the size of America? What is the capacity of America? But that war lasted for many years. So we should not get carried away by external details. So sometimes this visibility, what we see, is because of a will of the Lord. One such circumstance we see in Bhagavatam itself, 4th canto, Sati. So she was asked not to go to her father's place, but she went there, where there was a cold reception, means she was not received properly. Her father neglected her, not even spoke to her, not even saw her. Mother and sisters, they came, but they were very reserved in their communication, because husband will become angry or father will become angry. And when he was asked to speak in that assembly, he started criticizing Lord Shiva. And Sati could not tolerate the entire scenario. And this was predicted by Lord Shiva itself. Don't go to that circumstance where you will not be respected, where you will be like resorting to a drastic step. He already communicated. But attachment, social life, Sati wanted to go for a social perspective. So what are these functions for? Generally family functions are all social functions, where everybody displays their wealth. Oh, I purchased new necklace. I purchased this new saree. This is what discussion. Everybody wants to show off. So this material world, this is what respect is gained through by your external appearances. So Sati, you wanted to be in that assembly. But being a Vaishnava, Lord Shiva said, don't go there. You will not be respected. And you may be at the risk of losing of your life. But Sati did not care for that instruction. So she went there. And when it became intolerable for her, she started cursing Daksha and she committed suicide. Self-immolated. As soon as this news was communicated to Lord Shiva through Narada Muni, that Daksha had, because of Daksha's actions, by negligence and by offensive attitude to Lord Shiva, Sati committed suicide. Shiva, who was very silent personality, who never responds to any of these circumstances, he became very angry. So much so that he removed one hair from his head, jata, and hit it onto the floor. One huge demon came out of that jata. What is his name? Veerabhadra. A huge personality, like what we are talking, like a demoniac personality. What? So that strand of hair, that seemed like blazing electricity or fire, it seems. Just that one strand of hair, what he picked up. That person who came out, Veerabhadra, who stood at once, laughing like madman, and the demon, he was overwhelming in height and brightness. A fearful black personality, as high as the sky and as bright as 3 suns combined, thereby was created. One sun itself will be very bright. 3 suns combined. That personality was of that size. Then his teeth was very fearful, and the hairs on his head were like burning fire. A red copper, a red burning fire. The hair on his body was that color. He had thousands of arms equipped with various weapons, and he has been garlanded with skulls of men. If you see that personality of that huge size, what will be our immediate reaction? Our life will be in our mouth. So this is how we lose our attention, concentration. We don't know what to do, how to respond. And this person, as soon as he came out, he is paying obeisances to Lord Shiva. He is saying, my dear sir, I am at your command. What do you want me to do? So Lord Shiva instructed him, go to the sacrifice where Daksha is there, catch him and kill him. That is the punishment what he has been awarded with because of his attitude of Vaishnava Parana. So immediately he started marching. When he started marching with all the other demoniac people, the Tamoguna army, so the entire area was like dust cloud. You know, when cows run, they, with their hoofs, they make the dust arise. This is called as Godhuli. Go Charana, Go Dhuli. This is very auspicious thing to see. But when these demoniac people are coming, they are marching, they were raising the dust storm. So all the people in the Daksha assembly saw from the far off distance one big storm coming towards them. It was like some dust cyclone. So they were thinking, so this is not something like some dacoits are coming when they are coming with their horses, because there was one great king by name Prachina Barhishit. He had subdued all demoniac people, all thieves and rogues were already put under control. Where is this storm coming from? So everybody were guessing different things. So Prasuti, who was wife of Daksha, and other ladies, they began to explain, no, this is the impact of offending Lord Shiva. So because we have angered Lord Shiva, who was by nature very tolerant, very subservient, very simple man, because of our actions, he became enraged, and this is like death personified coming to destroy all of us. And some people thought it was like the end of Yuga, or end of the life of this universe. Brahmanda Antaha. And they started panicking. There was disturbance everywhere. And what is his capacity, this Veerabhadra? He was like anger personified of the Supreme Lord. And he became empowered on the strength of the instruction of Lord Shiva. And he was like direct executor of Lord Shiva on the battlefield, representing Lord Shiva's Tandava Nritya. Tandava Nritya means it is done at what time? At the time of annihilation. Then you can understand how severe this personality is like, implementing Lord Shiva's Tamoguna principle of Tandava Nritya. The weapons of this person, he carried a great trident. Which was so fearful that death can be killed with the trident, it seems. And on his legs he wore some bangles, which began to seem like roaring. That bangles, which were there on his anklets, they were like roaring, that sound. So people started thinking of what is this sudden darkness which came about. Everybody developed intense anxiety on noticing this dust storm. And they started inquiring about the cause of these circumstances from various people because of various opinions. So finally, when they understood, this gigantic black man with his fearful teeth, by the movements of his eyebrows, he was able to scatter all the clouds in the sky. And he covered them with his strong, piercing effulgence. So everybody in that assembly felt danger, except Brahma, who was Daksha's father. And all these things is because of one man's offense. Daksha, because of his offensive attitude, everybody were experiencing that anxiety, fear, danger. Because in that assembly, when you are there, when you see somebody is offending a Vaishnava, you have not contradicted him, you have not counteracted him, you have not chastised him, you have not corrected him. So this is also one more thing we have to be very careful in an assembly. When a Vaishnava aparadha happens, if you are silent means you are also supporting that Vaishnava aparadha. So what are the generally things it is recommended for a Vaishnava when a Vaishnava aparadha is being heard? You should cut off the head of that person. Second, if he can't cut off, leave the place is the last option. Second one is block your ears. Third one is leave that place. Because if he is a Brahmana, you cannot cut his head, Brahma Hatya. Shri Radha Govinda ki. You cannot commit suicide because you are also a Brahmana, you will also become Brahma Hatya. So you should be, third reason is you should go away from that place. Or else what happens if you become Brahma Hatya, you will become Brahma Rakshasa and you will start harassing others. Even Daksha saw these dangerous omens. Vinashakale vipareta buddhi. We would have heard this. So when at the point of destruction, we see all unwanted things which are not pursued, which are not to be pursued. That is that dangerous omens. So he saw these omens all everywhere, in the sky, in the earth, in the everywhere, everything he is seeing, all negative perspectives. So there were different personalities. The soldiers were of short of nature and equipped with various kinds of weapons. Their bodies appeared like sharks, blackish and yellowish. They ran all around the place and they started creating the disturbance. They removed the pandal. They created so much ruckus. So while the sages are running away, they are blocking their way. So they started breaking all the barriers for the pandal. Somebody brought down the pandal. Somebody went into women Mataji's area and they started disturbing them. Somebody went to the Yajna and started passing urine and stool into that Yajna. So much so that the entire disturbance. And they were started harassing, catching people and started punishing them, breaking them their arms, breaking their legs, various bodily injuries they were creating. Finally, Daksha was caught by Veerabhadra and just as an animal was chopped off on a sacrificial altar. So Daksha's head was chopped off on the sacrificial altar. So what happens? This demoniac mentality, this offensive attitude, the result of this offensive attitude. The Jai Vijaya, they also did an offense, knowingly or unknowingly, to the Kumaras. So this, what the exhibit they come out with. Not only they destroy their own personal career, but they create disturbance to all the other people surrounding also. But on the contrary, when you see the Supreme Lord of his great size, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is his size? He is the size of capacity of 4 cubits. Means, what do you say? What do you say? The nevantaru, measurement nevantaru? Mora. 4 moral size and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is known as Prakanda Sharira. Means when he expands his hands from this tip to this tip, it will be the height of his body. Ajanu Bahu. Their legs will come up to knee size. So their description of bodily. See, this is the description of demoniac people when you see what anxiety it creates. But when you see the Lord's appearance, Lord's body, one huge, also huge size, how it will appear. Kali Yuge Yuga Dharma Namera Prachara Tatalagi Pita Varna Chaitanya Avatara. So in Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya has incarnated in a yellowish form to propagate the holy name, Nama Sankirtana. Tapta Hema Samakanti Prakanda Sharira. His bodily effulgence was molten gold. And Prakanda Sharira, huge personality, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is said that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was standing in Ratha Yatra, lakhs of people were able to see the face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can understand what height he is. Means everybody are able to see means what is the height? Next. Navamega Jini Kantadvani E Gambira. His voice was like a rumbling cloud. Dairgya Vistare E Apanara Hata Chari hasta hoya Mahapurusha Vikyata. So his bodily structure was, by his own hand, he was 4 times more. So that's why he is known as Mahapurusha. Mahapurusha means one who has 32 bodily symptoms. They are considered as Mahapurusha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was exhibiting by his bodily features, he was like a Mahapurusha personality. Negrodha Parimandala Hoya Tanra Nama Negrodha Parimandala Tanu Chaitanya Gunadhama. So such huge personalities are considered as Negrodha Parimandala. One who are huge in size, in bodily description. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his guna, good qualities, he was a reservoir, personification of all good qualities. Ajanu Lambita Bhujo Kamala Lochanam. His eyes were like lotus petals. And Ajanu Lambita, his hands came up to his knees. Ajanu Lambita Bhujo. Tila Fula Jini Nasa Sudamshu Vadana. Sesame flower, his nose was like a sesame flower. And Sudamshu Vadana, and his face is like beautiful as the moon. Shanta Danta Krishna Bhakti Nishta Parayana Bhakta Vatsala Shushila Sarva Bhute Sama. He is very peaceful, Shanta. Dhanta, he is self-controlled. Krishna Bhakti Nishta Parayana, he is very fixed up in devotion to Lord Krishna. Bhakta Vatsala, very much affectionate towards his devotees. Shushila, well behaved. Sarva Bhute Sama, who is equal to all living entities. Now see the contrasting principles of these demoniac people. Are they Shanta? Are they peaceful? They are very anxious and they create anxiety. And Dhanta, are they self-controlled? No control at all. And Bhakta Vatsala? No. They are not Bhakta Vatsala. They are Praja Bhakshaka. They create disturbance. They eat people also. These demoniac people. Then Sarva Bhute Sama. No. See, all are negative principle is all demoniac people. Chandanera Angada Bhala, Chandana Bhushana, Nrutya Kale Parikarena, Krishna Sankirtana. His Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body was decorated with Chandana, and even the ornaments were made of Chandana. Chandana Bhushana. Nrutya Kale Parikarena, Krishna Sankirtana. And he especially wears his decorations to dance in Krishna Sankirtana. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. Then Nityananda Prabhu, when he showed his appearance to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, what was his structure also? Shyama Chikkana Kanti Prakanda Sharira. Again, he is Prakanda Sharira, huge personality. And he is Shyama Chikkana Kanti. He had a glossy blackish complexion. Sakshat Kandarpa Eiche Mahamalla Veera. And he was like huge WWF. This is one personality. Like that Kali, you see, there is one Indian person in WWF. Almost like 9 feet height he is, 8 to 9 feet height. Like a huge personality, Malla Veera. Like, and he is Kandarpa Yaicha, Sakshat Kandarpa. He was like, again, so huge personality, but he is like Cupid personified, beauty. Demons, when you see, you don't want to see him again. పొద్దున చూస్తే రాత్రి కల్లోకి వస్తారు వీళ్ళందరూ, భయపట్టేస్తారు. ఈవెన్ నిద్రలో కూడా, ఈవెన్ ఇన్ స్లీప్ యూ ఫియర్. You can't even sleep peacefully. And here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, you want to see them. Even in dreams, you want to see that personalities. See the contrasting nature. Then, Suvalita Hasta Pada Kamala Nayana. Suvalita Hasta Pada. And his bodily arms and legs were all very nicely formed. Then, Kamala Nayana, lotus eyes. Pattu Vastra Sire, Patta Vastra Paridhane. And he wore a silk cloth and a silk turban on his head. Suvarna Kundala Karne, Suvarnanga Bhala, Payete Nrupura Bhaje, Kante Pushpamala. So there were golden earrings, golden armlets, and golden anklets, and a beautiful garland around his neck. Chandana Lepita Anga, Tilaka Sutama. And there was, his entire body was decorated with Chandana, and there was Tilaka on his forehead. Matta Gajajini, Mada Manmatta Payana. Like a maddened elephant, he is roaming when he is walking. Koti Chandra Jini Mukha Vujvala Varana. His bodily effulgence was like crores of suns at simultaneous effulgence. Dadimba Bija Sama Danta Tambula Sharvana. When he was eating, the tambula, the teeth were like pomegranate seeds. Small, cute, very nicely shaped. Prema Matta Anga Dahine Vama Dhaule. Krishna Krishna Boliya Gambira Bhola Bole. He moved to and fro like somebody who is drunken. How he moves, swings. He was like that matta. Why? Because Krishna Nama matta. He was intoxicated in the holy name of Krishna. He is swaying to and fro, absorbed in ecstasy. Ranga Yasi Haste Dole Yena Marta Simha Chari Pashe Vedi Ache Charanete Bhringa. His red stick moved along with his hand. He seemed like a maddened lion. All around four sides of his feet were bumblebees. Parishada Gana Deke Sabha Gopavesha Krishna Krishna Kahe Sabe Saprema Avesha. So all the associates were all in the Gopavesha along Nityananda Prabhu. And there were like so many bees around him. And they were always chanted in ecstasy with Krishna's name. Singa Vamshi Bajaya Keha Keha Che Gaya. Somebody was blowing flute, somebody was blowing bugle, a horn, somebody was singing, somebody was dancing. Sevaka Yogaya Tambula Chamara Dhulaya. The servants were offering Tambula to the Lord and some were doing Chamara to the Lord. Nityananda Swarupera Dhekiya Vaibhava Kiba Rupa Guna Leela Alokika Sabha. Some uncommon his bodily features. Alokika Leela. His Rupa, Kiba Rupa, what form? Kiba Guna, what quality? Kiba Leela, what pastimes? Nityananda Swarupera Dhekiya Vaibhava. All the opulences, what? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying. It is uncommon. See, when you hear these symptoms of the Supreme Lord, your mind becomes very peaceful, very relaxed, very happy. But when you hear the opposite demoniac people, their bodily structures, their activities, it simply increases anxiety in the body. So that is the difference between a material world, a devotee perspective versus demoniac perspective. That's what Prabhupada was explaining in the purport. The mentality of demons was to create agitation. The mentality of devotees was to increase bhakti through the Lord. So similarly, in Vaishnava Acharya's perspective also, always they are there for human upliftment. So one Sankirtana Acharya in the Madhva Sampradaya was known as Vijayadasara. So you know, heard of Purandar Dasa, Kanaka Dasa. In the next parampara was Vijayadasara. So he was from the place known as Chikkala Parvi in Raichur district. By birth, his name was known as Dasappa, but people used to call him Kusimaga Dasappa. And his parents were known as Srinivasappa and Kusamma. And he had brothers by name Hayavadana Vittala Dasaru and Ananda Dasaru. He had composed 25,000 songs, kirtans, bhajans, and even lullabies. 25,000 songs he had composed. And 18 times he went on Tirtha Yatra. More than 20 years he had spent in his life in Tirtha Yatra itself. So once he went to Tirumala during Brahmotshava period, and he was doing dhyana at that particular point. So Lord, during Brahmotshava, Rathotshava was about to happen, the time has come, the Lord was seated on the chariot and people were pulling the chariot, but Ratha was not moving at all. It was so blocked. People with all their strength, they were trying to move. It was not even an inch, it was moving. Elephants were called, Ratha was not moving. And people became anxious. What is happening? The Lord in the Ratha, he is not moving. Then seeing their anxiety, Lord appeared in the one of the devotee, public there, and instructed, One of my devotee bound me in devotion in his ecstasy. So I cannot move. This Ratha will not move. Then they started wondering, who is that devotee? By his devotion, he was able to stop the Lord in the chariot itself. Then they started running here and there to find that devotee. Then they came upon Vijayadasri in one corner, under some tree. He was sitting and he was chanting. He was in meditation. They immediately reminded him, sir, Lord is waiting for you. Please come. So as soon as he went there, that the Lord was waiting for him that on the Ratha so that he can come. When he went there, the Lord started smiling and the Ratha started moving. Then he started singing a song which became very famous, Sagi Baraya Bavarogada Vaidyane. He's saying, please start moving, oh doctor of the cycle of birth and death. Bavaroga Vaidyane. Means Vaidya means one who is a doctor to cure the disease of this cycle of birth and death. Please come and cure our disease of cycle of birth and death. This is one particular instance. Then one day, in his sleep, he had a dream in which he met Purandaradasa, and Purandaradasa gave him his instrument, tamburi. And when he got up, he saw in his room that tamburi was physically available there. He thought it was a dream, but next moment it was physically there in his room. Even today, if you go to his birthplace, Chippagiri, you can see that tambura which was given to him by Purandaradasa. So there is one more personality by name Kallur Subbannacharya. They were all contemporaries. He was known as Sudha Pandit, means one who does like Bhagavata Saptaha, like that in Madhva Sampradaya. They take classes and they do this meetings and all. So because he was very much a Sanskrit scholar, he had very prejudice about devotees and the Vaishnava song acharyas. He was thinking, what are these people? Simply they chant the holy name. They are not fit for any Vaishnava philosophy and all. He had very bad impression about these devotees who constantly sing Sankirtanas. So one day when he was rendering this pravachana, everybody was invited except Vijayadasaru, because he had very bad opinion about these devotees. So he thought these Dasaru and the Devarnamas are nothing compared to Sanskrit Granthas. These people are not well versed with this Sanskrit and all, what they can come and what they can understand. So when Naivedya has to be cooked for all these things, the cook did not appear there. So Vijayadasaru, when he got to know that cook was not there and the Naivedya to the Lord has to happen, he immediately went there. He cooked the Naivedya and he cooked the capacity of the food for all the assembly. Such a big assembly, he alone cooked food for all these people. And after finishing cooking, he went there to the assembly to hear what the pravachana was. As soon as Subbannacharya saw that Vijayadasara has come there, his face started distorting. He started exhibiting, oh, such a person, what is your work here? Why did you come here? What do you want to listen? What can you understand? And he started mocking then and there Vijayadasara. So then he started mocking, what is the value of your chanting of the holy name, simply doing Sankirtana, simply singing some song? What is its value? There is no philosophical point. So when he started disregarding the holy name of the Lord, he became very angry. There was one person who was serving water to the assembly, who could not even speak properly. So Vijayadasara called him, placed his hand on his body and asked him to continue the pravachana where this person has stopped. And by the touch of Vijayadasara, that person became so erudite and he started continuing that Sanskrit verse recitation from where that person has stopped, and he started giving anuvada like a great spokesperson. Then everybody were astonished, even Subbannacharya was astonished. Such a person who can't even speak properly, he is giving erudite lectures on the Sanskrit thing where he had stopped. And after some time he removed the hand, that person became like a normal man who don't know how to speak. Then immediately Subbannacharya understood, the devotees are all great and all powerful personalities. My Sanskrit scholar and erudite things are of no use. He came and fell down at the feet of Vijayadasara and asked him to be accepted as his disciple. See, this ego, thinking that too much education, I know better, is one of the problems. That's why Kunti Maharani also says that, what are that? 4 things. Janma, Aishwarya, Shutashri, they are all obstacles in devotional life. Too much education is negative perspective. Then one more person was there by name Srinivasa Acharya. So one day, they were all in one particular place. So because whenever a great person comes, we'll invite him to come to our home for lunch. So there was one more singer by name Jagannath Dasru. He was also invited to come to lunch. He came, but the Srinivasa Acharya, when he was asked to come, he was thinking that such a person who just sings songs and all these things and all, what is the point in going to somebody's house like that? He said, no, I am not feeling hunger. My stomach is paining. I can't go and I can't attend. He said like that. When Vijay Dasru got to know that when he was asked to come and take prasada, he said that he was not feeling well. He said, okay. And he continued with his prasada, Tirtha prasada. As soon as he finished prasada, Srinivasa Acharya started having stomachache, such a severe stomachache. He was not able to sit, he was not able to sleep, he was not able to stand. He went everywhere. He went to Tirumala, he went to Ghatakachala, he went to, what is that, Raghavendra Swamy place? Mantralaya, he went everywhere. He could not get any solution. So finally, Raghavendra Swamy came in his dream and he said, you have offended a Vaishnava. Unless you go and take shelter of Vijay Dasru, you will not have this cure for this stomachache. So immediately he came and fell down at the feet of Vijay Dasru and requested him for forgiveness. Then Vijay Dasru forgave him and gave him an opportunity where he went on to write some very nice books in culture of Vaishnava perspective, singing songs and all. So there was one more disciple by name Mohana Dasru. So when he was going on a pilgrimage to Rameshwaram, he called the wife of Mohana Dasru and gave some akshata and said, Mohana Dasru will be having some tough time. Whenever you feel that disturbance, this mantra akshate you chant and remember the holy name of the Lord. So when he was in, near Rameshwaram somewhere, so Mohana Dasru, who was healthy and strong and suddenly personally he died. Then the wife, when she remembered this instruction given by her guru, she immediately put that akshata on the husband and she started chanting the holy name and she remembered the glorification of Vijay Dasru. And she started glorifying Vijay Dasru. At that particular point, Vijay Dasru was in meditation somewhere in Rameshwaram. In his meditation, he went to Yamaloka. He spoke to Yamadharmaraja and he said, you have brought a wrong person. You are supposed to bring somebody else. By mistake, you brought this wrong person. Immediately release him. In the meantime, all the other people, all the relatives, they are all fighting. Give this body, we have to do cremation. But the wife was reluctant, not sparing the body. So when he went and spoke and that personality was released and he got up from the bed and he became like normal, healthy man. Like Guru, how much he is towards his disciples. How much he is there concerned for this perspective. So this is the Vaishnava attitude, Vaishnava culture. We may think they are simple Nama Sankirtana, but they are all glorious personalities. So much so that Lord is responding to them. They are able to change the material rules and regulations. Generally, once a jiva is taken to Yamaloka, Yad Gatvana Nivartante, you cannot come back, something like that. So, but still he is able to transgress his material perspectives and bring him back. This is not a common point. These are all their uncommon activities, extraordinary activities. By their bhakti, by their humility, by their personal demeanor itself, they are able to attract people. So this is the humble perspective of devotee life. So, but on the contrast, if you see demoniac life, this is show off, proud, arrogance, everything and all is of ahankara level. So, we see, when you hear a subject, you can always see what you should do, what you should not do. Both you can learn from that subject. So, from these demoniac personalities, what we see is, we should not become like that. We should not create disturbances like that. This is the negative things which we should avoid in our Vaishnava culture. So, this is the way of spiritual perspectives. We learn from everyone. Everybody is teaching us. Everybody can become our instructing persons. Only thing is, what good we have to learn or what bad we have to learn is also a perspective what we have to observe. I'll stop here. Any questions or doubts? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।